Aircatcher is one of the most confusing and unique songs that 21 Pilots has ever released. The song's not about God, it's not about Blurryface, but it is still about Tyler's insecurities as a person. So I'm first gonna tell you what it's about, and then we'll talk about why it's unique, thanks to the millions of people who have requested it. Not a million, but a lot of you guys. So in verse 1, he first talks about how I don't fall slow like I used to, I fall straight down. You've stolen my air catcher that kept me safe and sound. Now this air catcher is probably the most confusing, mysterious part about this song, other than what the song itself is about. But it's essentially a parachute, which he mentions in the second half of the first verse. My parachute's what's got me safely to ground, but now the cord's not working and I see you staring me down. So we know he's going into a dangerous situation that he doesn't want to be in, and that his parachute is what helps to keep him safe. It's like a security blanket. Unfortunately, this person who's staring him down with these mysterious eyes is also taking away that security blanket from him. So he's going into a place he doesn't want to be, and he's going faster than he wants to be going. In the second verse, we learn a little bit more about this person. Apparently, she's pretty enough to beat the moon in a pretty contest, but the moon is the first thing that Tyler missed. The moon is probably a reference to how Tyler feels about the night. We hear a lot in 21 Pilots lyrics about how the night is the scary, dark time that he doesn't want to be there for when he's alone with his thoughts. But he also apparently maybe enjoys it a little bit, enjoys getting a little bit deeper into who he is as himself and sorting things out. When he's hanging out with this person, he doesn't have the time or the freedom necessarily to be alone as much. He was doing fine on his own. There wasn't much he lacked. And even though this person has stolen his air catcher, he's still not sure if he wants it back. And that brings us to what the song is about. It's about falling in love with somebody, but being afraid of falling in love. The other person is a woman who is beautiful and who has attracted Tyler, and he wants to be with her, but he also still feels more comfortable being with himself, so he's not sure if he wants to open himself up to the risks of a relationship, because when you do that, you lose your parachute or your safety net, namely your aloneness, and now you are thrust into this dangerous situation with another person. Which is funny to me because he is more vulnerable in his songs than most of us are vulnerable in any of our relationships. And that takes us to the chorus. I won't fall in love with falling. I will try to avoid those eyes. And this is the central metaphor of the song. It's the idea that falling in love is the same or can be described as falling down, which is inherently a bad thing. And Tyler's probably not telling us that falling in love is a bad thing, but he's telling us that from his perspective at that point when he wrote the song, it felt like a scary, frightening thing that was unnecessarily dangerous. And that takes us to the post-chorus where he sings, because I'm not sure I want to give you tools that can destroy my heart. If he opens himself up to somebody else, they will know things about him. They will be able to hurt him. He will have to share his insecurities with them, and when they know those, they can rip him apart. And in the bridge, he talks about how maybe he's not completely on board with this. He says, I just don't want to say what you want to hear, which could be the phrase, I love you, or maybe he's just very blunt and honest. And he continues, so I'll write my fears, which is his songwriting, and I don't believe in talking just to breathe and falling selfishly. So he doesn't want to do things just for the sake of doing them. I don't want to fall in love just because it's the thing to do. I want to fall in love when it's real. But everything turns around full circle when we get to post-chorus 2, where he sings, but now I'm here to give you words as tools that can destroy my heart. So he goes through all of this talking and all of this thinking. He weighs the options and he decides, I'm going to take the risk. And now let's talk about why this song is significant. First of all, Aircatcher is unique because it's one of the few songs that Tyler writes about other people. Most of his songs are about himself, his own thoughts, or about his relationship with God, but this is one of the few that is about another person. Those songs are a lot more common on self-titled than they are in later albums. Secondly, and based on an exhaustive study that will be showing up in a video shortly, when Tyler writes about other people, especially family, friends, or fans, he does it very emotionally, so he relies on music or his voice and much less on lyrics to get his message across. And then when he writes about God or philosophical ideas, he does it a lot more rationally and logically, using lyrics and higher level concepts. At least that's how he did it on Self-Titled and for most of Vessel, but as we get into Vessel, and definitely when we get into Blurryface, everything becomes a lot more emotional when he's talking about God. Gone Are Not Today, Doubt, and The Judge are all songs about God that are very, very emotional. Third, Aircatcher is 65 words fewer than the average 21 Pilots song and is 4 minutes and 14 seconds long, which means that the song itself is very slow and that it relies heavily on music to get the meaning across. Fourth, it's also one of the most artistic songs that Tyler Joseph has written. First of all, the words are completely unique. Other than the choruses, no ideas repeat themselves. There's very little rhyming, and he relies heavily on metaphors and other lyric writing concepts to get his message across and to make it beautiful. He also never rhymes by repetition in the song. Every rhyme is carefully crafted so that he doesn't have to rely on using the same word to rhyme with itself. I also love how the post-chorus is musically very similar in the two different places it's used, but the lyrics change just a little bit to completely change the message of that stanza and to bring the song to completion. Fifth, notice the references to other 21 Pilots songs or other themes that Tyler usually writes about. First of all, he describes something dangerous or scary by the eyes, and that's something that he also does in Glowing Eyes, where the glowing eyes represent his own personal demons. And then it's also very much like Tear in My Heart. He says, because I'm not sure I want to give you tools that can destroy my heart. He knows that he can open himself up to this other person, but that he could get hurt. And that's very much like Tear in My Heart, where he sings, she's the tear in my heart, she's a carver, she's a butcher with a smile, cut me farther than I've ever been. It's dangerous to love people, and Tyler knows it. It's also not hugely complimentary to the person that he likes. And finally, who is that person? Is the person in Aircatcher Jenna Black, the woman who he's now married to? I looked around a ton to try to figure out what the answer to this was. Self-Titled was released in 2009, so it's been 8 years, and Tyler and Jenna got married in 2015, so what exactly is going on here? Personally, I don't think it's about her, even if the ideas and this fear of intimacy with another person are still the same. But I'd love to hear from you guys. Do you know when Tyler and Jenna got together? Could it be that Aircatcher is about her? Hey guys, you should really go check out my video about trees. It's really a good song, and I get really emotional in that video. Thanks so much for watching this one. That's all I know about Aircatcher, so I hope that you enjoyed this video and that you're excited to listen to more 21 Pilots songs in the future, and that you're excited about learning what your music means. Like I believe, you shouldn't be satisfied with shallow lyrics. We want truth, we want honesty, we want realness. Go out and find good artists, suggest some of them to me down below, and we'll see what happens. Thanks for watching, everybody. Talk to you later.